Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Red Zone, our very own sports show brought to you by the very good people of This is Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Jason Miles. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're so glad you're here. For our returning listeners, subscribers, and especially our patrons, well, all right. You're the driving force behind the TIR machine, and we couldn't do this without you. Also, for viewers of the main show, Kayfabe Episode 1 and soon Episode 2 is live on Means TV, as well as all the other video essays that TIR has done over the years. But to view all our video essays, as well as all the other amazing content that Means TV hosts, go to meanstv.com and enter discount code This is Revolution, all one word, and receive 20% off a monthly or yearly subscription. Let me put it on the screen so you can see it. Bam! Right there, that discount code. This is Revolution, all one word. Also, TIR is listener-funded programming. If you enjoy watching all these shows and you have the means and feel so inclined, become a patron. You can access champagne rooms, past and present. We tried valiantly to watch a movie, and YouTube just kept shooting us down yesterday. Fuck! Join us for our patron-only call-in segments, movie nights when they're actually structured properly, and of course, our essay series, The Crisis Papers. Issue 7 is up now, and all the patrons at the Teenage Anarchist level and above receive the magazine layout version for free, while every patron gets the text-only version. If you aren't sure about making the monthly commitment, yet still want to support, there is a link in the description to purchase the Crisis Papers. Wherever you are watching or listening to the show, click that link and make sure TIR can continue to bring you this level of irreverent, hard-hitting quality programming. Now, let's talk about something a little strange this evening. Sports travel and deportation flights. Never have two things so disparate than our topic today, sports flights and deportation flights, been a central point of discussion on this podcast. When we think athletes and rock stars on private planes, we imagine them to be high-class elite travel, like what you'd see a Bond villain flying, or in a scene from a rap video. Most people don't know that many sports teams, I'm talking about collegiate and professional, don't have their own private planes, but they charter planes or take commercial flights. And the planes that some of our favorite teams ride on have been the site of horrific atrocities, all done in the vein of public safety. Sports teams and some rock stars are using the same company that ICE has contracted for migrant detention return flights. The same airlines, and more often than not, the same planes that contain immigrants that were not only being deported, but suffering from brutal state-sanctioned abuse. But are the athletes aware about what transpires on these planes before they board? Do they care if they were to find out? In a post-Kaepernick era, professional sports leagues have been quick to quell any sort of labor stoppage with bold symbolic gestures. In the case of immigration detention and deportation flights, I don't know if we'll even get a tepid kneeling response. Securing brand deals now isn't just for the pros. With the NIL, younger players are more likely to avoid the possibility of ruining their opportunities with major multinational corporations by saying or doing something that could jeopardize the bag. The repercussions for attempting to protest this level of callous injustice by the players would truly trump the kneeling. But what would they do? Not play? Or simply not board a plane chartered by a company that won a bid for these government contracts? That would draw massive attention to the inhumane treatment that these people are facing and the bipartisan barbarity of the U.S. immigration policy. Non-refoulement, the practice of not forcing refugees or asylum seekers to return to a country in which they are liable to be subjected to persecution, is being violated on these flights, turning them into ostensibly murder missions. These flights span all of the major sports and college as well. But I ask again, what should the players do? We know the schools and the team ownership won't do anything, as they have social and financial ties to the politicians and companies who continue to let ICE run roughshod over the Constitution. So the players will have to act if we want to see national coverage of these atrocities and hopefully put an end to the brutality. This current administration has proven that it is a steamroller on the pathway of authoritarian dictatorship. This would take more than kneeling and social media blackouts. It would cost people their livelihoods and who knows what else. What will be done, if anything? Let me bring in my co-host, my homie, my dog, Macadocious Rex.
Hello, everybody. As you can see, it's Mac in morning.
Because of the
watching the Cavs just do what Cleveland teams do to Cleveland fans every season, year in, year out. Let us down. But I think we know the answer to what are the players going to do. And it's called jack and shit.
Damn, you don't think they're going to do anything? You think they know? First of all, do you think they are aware?
No. And honestly, I think you should post the article like in show notes when you upload this, because
I believe it did. If I didn't,
I thought it was a fascinating article because it's not something I would have thought to have really dug into. Now, what I thought, I mean, when I talk about, I don't think the players know. When you look at how these flights are structured, especially when at one point in the article they said after 2018, one company stopped even like submitting their flight plans to the FAA.
Yeah.
They're not going to volunteer the fact that they're probably making billions at this point in government contracts to, in many cases, illegally send people, not even home, but to third nations that they're not even from.
Mm-hmm.
The one example was a dude from, I believe it was Cameroon, who got deported to Uzbekistan. Right? Like, absolutely batshit. But on the other hand as well, I don't think the players want to know.
I agree with that.
Right? You've already hit the nail on the head when you said that, players standing up and speaking out is going to hit him in the pocketbook. Right? We've seen that. Look at the people, look at the biggest people who've really spoken out for Palestine, right? Against what the IDF's doing, what the state of Israel is doing to the Palestinian people in Gaza. Who are the biggest voices? Allow me. I will tell you.
Sure.
Kneecap, a Northern Irish rap group. We all know about the connection between Ireland and Palestine. It's been there. It's always going to be there. I mean, fuck, even in the Republic, they told the Israeli government to kick rocks, get out, we're closing your embassy, which kind of rad. You can talk a lot of shit about Irish politics and the government, but still, that's kind of rad. Okay. Then you have Macklemore. Okay. A guy who hasn't had a record deal, like a big time record deal, in probably 3 or 4 years.
If not longer.
Yeah. And probably knows that putting out, Hins Hall is a death knell to any like big record label career he might have. I don't think he's really worried about it because he still has money. He's good. He earned generational wealth. He's fine. And then Mia Khalifa.
She is Palestinian, right?
No, she's Lebanese.
Okay.
Right. But, as she's transitioned away from porn and gotten like into more modeling and like, honestly, sports talk, she has, really, no. I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I am dealing with a bad storm down here in the Southeast, and so I'm going to stick around as long as I can until weather, decides to tell me to go fuck myself, right? But, she's been very loud and supportive of the Palestinian people and what's going on in Gaza. So when you look at the three really biggest names out there that are saying something, they're not what you would call like traditionally famous people, right? Kneecap's gotten huge just in the last few years.
They did Coachella,
yeah. which I've been listening to Kneecap probably since 2019. A former British soldier that Marcus introduced me to sent me a link to their song "Get Your Brits Out," and like the thumbnail was a picture of Queen Elizabeth's saggy tits. So I was like, these guys are fucking rad, and they rap in English and Gaelic, which is really cool. And then Macklemore, would you expect a fucking redheaded ginger rapper who is probably more well known for his song Thrift Shop to make a whole tune about what was going on in that moment? No. And
I would.
Dude, I don't, because like this guy's from the Pacific Northwest,
but he came up on bass shit, and he comes from a world. He does come from a scene where being conscious means something.
And I was getting to that, right?
Okay, I'm sorry.
That a lot of what we deal with, especially in our neck of the woods, there's a lot of people that do a lot of talking, but with little or no follow through. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean. That's the world we exist in. DC Joe, that the name of the band's Kneecap. But it is. There's a lot of talk, but not a lot of follow through. So the fact that Macklemore did it, I mean, I give him a lot of credit for it, right? And honestly, it was a fucking, in the words of the youth, it was a bop. Okay, it was a very fucking well done song. And then you got Mia Khalifa, who is mostly known for her former porn career. But she's got a platform now, and I think, besides the displays of excess, like her going to Coachella and all that other shit, and the fine luxury brands that she garbs herself in, she's still very close to or she feels the need to talk about what's happening, and not just Gaza, but in a lot of spaces in the Middle East. So I give them all a lot of credit for speaking up and saying something, but we're not going to see an American-based football player speak out on what's happening in Gaza. You know what I mean? Like Stephon Diggs is not going to get up at OTAs and yeah, man, what's happening in Gaza is fucked up. You want to know why? Because he's dating Cardi B now. Okay. He might say something about universal health care, because Cardi's all about that and free college, but I don't think he's speaking up about Gaza, So I don't think the players want to know. And honestly, I don't think they can know, because like I was saying, these companies which are contracted, okay, and keep in mind, everybody, it's a series of 4 companies, but there's 2 really big ones. And the shitty thing is I had said, in 2018, one of the companies stopped submitting flight plans to the FAA, which I don't know how that's even legal, except under the auspices of CIA, law enforcement shit, which I guess that they're considering this as part of, even though I don't see how this is a law enforcement thing, Kush, I want to know how it's legal for a plane, anywhere in the United States, to be like, hey, we're not submitting a flight plan, a manifest, who's on it, fuck. I don't understand how that is allowed, so it's dumbfounding to me that we have private enterprise. Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. The fact of the matter is, we've seen the government, especially Republicans, push to privatize warfighting functions with, the awarding of contracts to private military corporations. So it shouldn't surprise me. It just dumbfounds me how they've outsourced flights like these to deport damn near anyone. And the article did a great job of really breaking down the, I guess, sections of these deportees, and kind of the means in which they did so. Jason, you need to come in here any day now to help me out, because
I was enjoying this. I'm so sorry. I'm actually sitting here like this. I'm like, preach.
But
no, what
that was, I think that's what really kind of got me was
the story.
especially the refoulement, which if anybody doesn't know what that means, it's kind of like
you can't take someone back to their country
where they're going to be under threat of like violence or the taking of their life.
Death, yeah.
Right now, keep in mind, there's an international treaty that the United States signed saying they would not do that.
Oh, we've been saying fuck that for years.
Oh, for
actually,
years.
during the first, it was during Trump. So it was when Trump was really going hard on immigration, and the whole thing was, even if you were granted asylum, and we covered this on the show because one of the lawyers actually is a friend of mine from high school. A gentleman, he did have a DUI, and it was like his third.
Okay, I'm not excusing that. Right?
Look, I'll tell you the whole story.
It's stupid, but for me, if he didn't strike someone with a vehicle and kill them, that's a non-violent crime. That's him being a moron.
He was, yes.
He
had issues with substance abuse and the whole nine. He's a young person in the world. And he had got a tattoo on his neck. He's from El Salvador that said MS-13 when he was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that did the tattoo, government informant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so you know, if you've watched this show enough, you will learn that government informants generally start all the shit.
Yep.
79 in North Carolina, not far from where Mac is, government informant literally is behind putting neo-Nazis and the Klan together to unite as one to murder people.
Yep.
During a parade.
Chairman Hampton. How did they know the layout to the man's apartment? Government informant.
Informants will start so much shit. But anyway, so the guy got a tattoo on his neck by a government informant, and he wasn't in a gang.
Yeah.
But he got caught up in a DUI, and this was during the first Trump administration when they were real hard on people, and he got thrown into, and I don't know if people know this, another thing that we talk about and have talked about on this show quite a bit is the idea that private prisons are being built just for nonviolent drug offenders. First of all, the people that are going to prison a lot are not nonviolent drug offenders. And the majority of the prisons that you're seeing being built are for civil detention.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to remember when you hear about migrants being detained, it's called civil detention. They're not under arrest. So they can hold you for as long as they want.
Yeah, and keep in mind that civil detention laws have also been used against protesters all over the place. Because with civil detention, the sentencing procedures are different.
Very different.
Right? And the thing is, they can hold you longer on very specious fucking evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And many times, you do not have to have an advocate in the form of like an attorney or, whatever the fuck you want to call them, right? Because sometimes you might get someone that's still in law school that's a clerk, clerking for somebody, or like what do you call it? Working their summers, at a law office, under the supervision of an attorney, right? But in many times under civil detention sentencing procedures, there's no requirement for you to have an advocate there to advocate on your behalf.
So that's when you were hearing about children as young as like 3 getting tried. So this is when this was happening the first time through. So this man actually had won his case for asylum 3 times. 3 different district court judges said, you can't deport this man to El Salvador. He's going to die.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I don't know what happened to the gentleman.
Well, that was a sad part about a couple of the examples in the article was that the researcher genuinely lost track of this person that they were talking about after they had been deported to whatever country. Because like I said, some of these people are not going back to where they were born, or not even where they were born. The article also lists an example of someone born in a freaking refugee camp. Their parents had fled Cambodia when Pol Pot decided to go fucking
nuclear on the fucking genocide.
Yeah, they fled as refugees. This person was born there, and the United States government deported him to Thailand, a country he had never been to, or Cambodia, excuse me, a country he'd never been to. Right? This dude was here legally, lived his whole life here, was not a violent offender, or, the things that Trump likes to say, we're getting rid of the bad people. He was just a dude that was deported to Cambodia because that's where his parents were from. Right? And the thing is, I read a book about Weimar Germany. And I told Jason I should, did I not say this? I was like, I never should have read this book because there are way too many parallels between how things started in Weimar when they started getting bad and now in what we're currently existing in the United States. And this is how this starts. It's essentially extrajudicial, deportations. This dude is taking people who are in the middle of their asylum cases or the middle of their citizenship process and just saying, nope, get out. Loading them on planes, right? Keep in mind, a lot of these people are being just picked up in snatch and grabs, which is fucking horrifying, right? And the sad thing is in this country right now, it's not even just ICE doing the snatch and grabbing. It is fucksticks buying uniforms off of like Amazon and just going and fucking pulling people in and dumping them at police stations.
That's hella frightening.
Yeah. And the thing is, those imposters, no repercussions, sorry, Nuri. This is a heavy subject today because this is the sad thing. A lot of these private planes, what they do is they fill them up with seats. They restrain these people in what they call a wrap system, which is only supposed to be used for the lower extremities, but they will fucking put it on two of them on these.
Are you familiar with that from your time in the service or no?
No, we didn't have that. Unfortunately, what I saw a lot of were sandbags over heads. Oof. And then when that came out of, when they realized that that's a form of torture, it was what we would do is put electric tape on goggles so they couldn't see out and just put goggles on them. But, still, I've seen the wrap system because, Fayetteville PD is looking at what they call non-lethal means of detainment. And supposedly this was a non-lethal one, but it's only non-lethal if you have their lower body at a 90-degree angle. And what they're doing is they're folding these guys, these people's legs up and then applying it to them. So they're like literally, they're crushed. They can't breathe. They're loaded on an airplane for 14 to 20 hours. And then they're insane. And then they're dumped off and they don't know where, and when you look at the companies involved, a lot of them aren't even aeronautics companies. They just get the contract.
Yep.
And then they subcontract out. And then you can't track down because of the language in these contracts with the government. You can't see what they're making off this. You can't even see who's really doing the flights. The researcher was only able to put 2 and 2 together because through a FOIA request up until, I think they had data up until 2019?
Something like that, yeah.
And matching tail numbers after doing interviews.
That was crazy, finding the tail numbers. So basically they were finding out that there were planes that athletes had flown on that literally people were getting tortured on before they had flown on the planes. They just would reconfigure the chairs and make them luxury flights again.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of fascinating in a way because, again, I don't think these guys have any idea that those planes could be used for something more than flying them around. I think the hard part about,
if you look at those planes, Jason, it's all paneling. Like the lush carpet is literally just a piece of paneling they can pick up, put out, and then there's brackets for seats. And they can just drop seats in, fill the fucking thing up, and then load people on it to extradite them or deport them to, like I said, what killed me is the guy from Cameroon. Why is he in Uzbekistan? Why?
Well, you know, I don't know if you've heard that they want to start taking people to was it Libya?
Well, dude, I've seen, like, I think what terrifies me most is, um, the president of El Salvador is accepting American money to build more prisons.
Yeah. Yeah. As things are coming out about his collusion with certain gangs in El Salvador as well to stay in power, it's pretty disgusting how laid bare a lot of this is. And even so, to a certain extent, and why I asked the question in the introduction, what you can expect out of the athlete class. I think if we go back in the Wayback Machine to 2016 and we look at Colin Kaepernick, and let's just look at him and have an honest discussion about it. And this isn't about name calling, but we have to really honestly say that everything about what he was doing was pretty tepid. And once it started to kneel, I think it's horrible that that man lost his career over something as, let's be honest, it's pretty trivial because when you go, imagine if MLK was like, Mr. Bull Connor, what would not upset you for the good niggers of Alabama? Like that would every black person like, fuck that guy, right?
Yeah.
That's insane to think that someone would do that, right? And Colin Kaepernick literally does that, and he still gets ousted by the league.
Yeah.
And I say all this to say that the league is extremely reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely more so than all the other leagues. If you remember, at the same time that Kaepernick is just sitting out, basketball players are allowed to wear their jerseys inside out during Daniel Sterling.
Yeah.
They can have the I Can't Breathe t-shirt. The NBA understands the audience a little better, and they kind of let the players do their thing because they're like, look, they're going to wear these shirts one day. They're going to Wakanda forever, maybe twice. Then it's over. Okay?
They're pounding up Ryan Coogler on the sidelines, and they're like, Silver's like, and we're done. Okay, yeah, we're good.
This is Ben Burgess says, whatever else you want to say about it, the whole Kaepernick thing was an amazing demonstration on how thin-skinned American conservatives are. That man, they were willing to pay him probably more money collectively in a settlement agreement, because we don't know how much it was. Then you could have just let him play. He could have played and sucked and not even finished a contract. We don't know how great he could have been or how horrible he would have kept on being. We just don't know. Because the NFL, go ahead.
This is what kills me about the whole thing. Because one, Ben, you're absolutely 100% right. It did show just how thin-skinned conservatives are in this country. And then we saw them shooting like $300 worth of ammunition at 3 cases of Bud Light and then only hitting 2 cans. So we also see how fiscally irresponsible they are. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, you're right, Jason. We don't know how good or how bad he really could have been, because he had a cup of coffee in the NFL. If we're being honest, that's all it was.
Yes, you are 100% correct.
Okay. And that's not a knock against Cap. I give him credit for wanting to do something, right? My biggest issue with it was, why are we getting so fucking fired up about him sitting during something that wasn't required until 9/11?
Thank you.
It wasn't. We didn't always do this shit.
We didn't watch. Baseball was the only sport in the Super Bowl where you watched the national anthem.
Yeah.
Post 9/11, we have massive erections for Stars and Stripes. Just massive.
Another thing we can blame Rudy Giuliani on, because he was the guy that went to the Yankees and was like, let's do the big thing. Let's be America, because I'm America's mayor now. And it's like, bro, fast forward fucking what, almost 20 years, and your hair is melting off your fucking head, and you're giving press conferences outside of a fucking landscaping company.
Well, I mean, do you remember how mad Americans were that there was no football for a week?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean there's no foot? What do you mean there's no football? I live in Minnesota. Care about those New York Jews?
You know, and it's just like these leagues, like, granted, the NBA has kind of rolled with things better.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I think they're just as reactionary. Where the NBA they're going to give kind of a more lukewarm like approval because it's a player driven league. And if Adam Silver said, LeBron, if you wear an I Can't Breathe shirt, I'm going to fine you $500,000 every game. And LeBron's like, well, here's a check for $6 million. I'm going to wear this for the next 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's just going to fuck you. I got fuck you money.
Yeah.
I'm going to cover the 12th man at the end of the bench. He wants to wear one too. You know, like, Silver is going to, like, it's essentially what it is. He's going to allow players to do that, to flash their individuality and their support for some things, because one, he's got a better relationship with his players. I really 100% believe that. Okay. And two, he's got the league is so star driven. He knows if I piss off LeBron, I've lost the plot. Like, I'm done.
Well, can we also admit that these gestures as protest, while there's no work stoppages, they really don't do anything. You know, I can't breathe. Did you just write I can't breathe on your tennis shoes? Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I had this discussion with my little commie reading group.
Sure.
Okay. And you know, the idea of a general strike was brought up.
Oh, this is great.
And I was like, I would love to see one.
Mm-hmm.
I would participate. Job be damned. Mm-hmm. And they're like, do you have enough money to do that? I said, no, I'm fucking broke. But I'm if one was called and we actually organized it, I would do it. But I was like, what you have to understand is a lot of these workers are so tied to their place of employment. And by that, that's how they pay their bills. That's how they get health insurance. That is a hard thing to break. That's a hard thing to ask someone to give up.
Yep.
Right? Especially considering how nothing in this country is getting cheaper, no matter how much Trump wants to tell us on Truth Social that it is. You know, I told them this is going to be a difficult thing to pull off. I think if we actually organized it, but we did it kind of like industry by industry, that would work just as well. But getting that to go over again, especially down south or in places with like right to work.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you decided that you weren't going to come to work yesterday to go to strike. Okay, well, you don't have a job anymore. That's always going to be a rough one to overcome, you know? And we don't exactly have what I would call robust, you know, like
labor unions,
community programs to support people. Ooh. Like if they did get fired for walking off the job, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. We don't have any of those things set up. Calling for a general strike requires infrastructure. When it happened in the late 19th century and early 20th century, unions were more robust and they had larger war chests in which they could support workers. And keep in mind, it wasn't just for the union members.
Yeah.
They did that for other non-unionized people that would walk off the job in support of a general strike because it was what was good for one was good for the other. Right. But we don't have that robust, organized labor presence, whether it's an actual union or in like, those early stages of union forming. Mm-hmm. Those are non-existent. We're at a tiny portion of the population that is actually unionized. Is it growing? Yes. And Lady Braga, you do not want me as president because the first thing I'm doing, I'm going right to the Senate. I'm like, hey, guys, all 100 of you, go home. We don't need you. We're going to expand the size of the House to 2,000 people.
Mac's going to be like Denzel in what was that football movie?
Oh, remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans, yeah.
You don't pass a law, you run a lap. You don't sign my legislation.
We got
a
one
lap.
system here. It's called communism.
Mike Johnson, what do you not understand? People's democracy. Take your ass back to Louisiana. Just go. Actually, run that lap. Louisiana back to DC.
Don't join the general strike, Eric W. says.
Run a mile.
Well, Matthew Whalen has joined us. He is a journalist who has written several articles about the penal system, actually, in the South. But he won't be talking about penal system today. He's also a massive Knicks fan. Please welcome returning guest Matthew Whalen.
Hello, Matthew Whalen.
Can you hear us, Matthew?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So the Knicks won. I'm assuming that's why you're on the screen.
Well, let me just make some opening points. All right. Really, they're more like disclaimers. Okay. First of all, I expect to be coming on to the show after having, I don't know, maybe made out with my girlfriend and cried tears of joy. That's what I was imagining when I was about to come on to the show. I imagined a good makeout session with tears of joy. And I guess instead it was more like rubbing my back with tears of sadness.
Was it like a puffy party back rub with tears of sadness?
That's point number.
I wish it was baby oil.
You know what? I wish it was too. Yeah.
Dude, Matthew, I don't want to hear it. Okay, because one, I love Jalen Brunson. I like the fact. I think it's strangely fun watching them set up like a Villanova Part 2 up in New York City. I love it.
Yes.
And I love that the angriest Shrek lookalike in Tom Thibodeau is just owning it in New York after being told he's a shitty coach in Chicago. But I'm a Cavs fan, God damn it. And if there was ever a shitting the bed team, probably over the last, I would say 4 or 5 years, it was this year's version of the Cavs.
Are you the guy who was on the show when I jumped into the chat months ago and said the Knicks were going to steal the Cavs lunch money?
Most likely.
Yeah, that was probably me.
You're the guy. Oh, yeah. I was going to bring that up, not even knowing that you'd be on the show tonight, to be honest with you.
It's all right, man.
I
want somebody in this world to be happy. That's all I want.
Now you know how it feels to be a Knicks fan for multiple decades in a row.
Oh, I'm from Cleveland, dude. I'm a Guardians and a Cavs fan.
Yeah, but
New York fans cannot bitch about shit because when all else fails, you still have the fucking Yankees.
Always got the Yankees.
Last time you won a championship.
All right.
The Cavs? Well, yeah, the Cavs did win a championship in
2016.
I was still in my past life.
All right.
Okay.
The Guardians haven't won a World Series since 48. Okay. Yeah, 1948.
All right. I can't.
That's the only championship Cleveland has is that Cavaliers championship, huh?
The major ones, yeah. I mean, you have the Browns who won like 10 titles in 12 years.
Anything before the Super Bowl.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jason's getting all Uncle Ruckus on us. Now that shit don't count.
None of that counts as long as it.
And it happened
with that nigger Jim Brown running the ball.
And it happened within the last 52 years.
If you didn't win a championship in the Super Bowl era, that shit, you shouldn't have a banner up in your stadium.
I don't. That's it. Oh, that's fair.
If there's a banner in your stadium from a pre-Super Bowl era championship, That just means that black people weren't allowed to watch it.
Mr. Crash said, if a championship happened before the Civil Rights Act, then it doesn't count.
If you won a World Series before blacks and Latins were able to play,
dude, you want to hear something?
We eked it out by 5 years.
Oh damn!
You want to hear something fucked up? Is somebody at work actually used that argument, like black players on winning championships on teams was a form of reparations?
A white person said that, or
yes.
black person? A white person said
a white
that?
person said that in front of like a group of me and like 6 other black people, and they all just kind of did this.
Yeah, like for who? For Doug Williams? Like Doug Williams got all the reparations money?
Spoken like a true Celtics fan.
The Knicks haven't won since the Nixon administration. Is that true?
Okay. You know what, Jason?
I don't. I'm asking. I don't remember them winning in the 80s.
You know, I don't know if that makes you feel strong. If that makes you feel like, maybe it makes you feel like a man to say things like that, to punch down.
Matthew, all you got to do is bring up his carrot and raisin salad concoctions. You don't have to worry about Jason being manly.
Well, I live in Dodger country in Mexico. There's so much Dodger shit that
wait, you mean the L Dodgers?
The L
The L Dodgers. I
loved those jerseys last year. We're going to celebrate in the Latin community in Los Angeles by throwing L in front of Dodgers on the jerseys. What the fuck, guys?
In all fairness, as much bootleg shit as you can get here, you cannot get an L Dodgers jersey here.
So what do you guys think about this idea? All right, let me run this by you. You're a Cavs fan. Maybe you can relate to something like this. Knicks beat the Celtics in any amount of games. All right. And after that, we just quit. We just say, fuck it. We don't want to play no more. This shit is too easy. It's too easy.
This is what kills me about the NBA season, right? OKC and Cleveland roll through the regular season, right? There really wasn't much competition in either conference. They both just gone, right? Playoffs hit, though. And you see what a lack of depth and minute management did to their starters, right?
Yeah.
Like Donovan Mitchell looked like a shell of himself last night.
Yeah.
Right. Before we went on, Jared Allen only scored 11 points in the last 2 games. Darius Garland had a toe injury in addition to like a hammy. And it's just like, maybe there is something to some of these other teams and other like players and shit saying the Cavs are soft. I think it showed. Indiana, the fucking Pacers muscled us. And then I think Ty Halliburton showed he is literally him. That dude could have closed his eyes, Jason, and just all night, all fucking night, daggers. Right. And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck am I watching? Is anybody going to get a hand in Halliburton's face? And when they did, what Halliburton do? Don't worry, got it. And then some fucking goofball white dude just fucking ran. I don't even know his name. He was like the 11th dude on the bench who fucking turned into Larry Bird all of a sudden. Like Larry's spirit came out of the floorboards in Indiana and soaked into this dude's body because he was just fucking all over the place. Rebounds, steals, points, block shots. And I'm like, where the fuck? What is going on?
Yeah.
Right. And I had to sit through that. And then I watch the late game, OKC. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Denver literally right now is Nikola. And he looks tired as fuck. He looks like a Serbian dude should look after like an 18-hour shift in the factory. Okay? Yeah, that's how Nikola looks. And you can't. What the fuck?
Mitchell Robinson, by the way. Shout out Mitchell Robinson, one of the only ones who had a good game tonight. But I thought Donovan Mitchell was playing hurt in the last game. That's how it looked to me.
Yeah, dude, he looked like he hit the wall, and he's like probably nursing, you know, like he had like a calf hamstring thing, you know, but he still went out there. Garland and Allen sat for 2 fucking games in this series, man.
Also, what you said about the bench is interesting too, because I think that's a problem for a lot of teams. Even right now, up 3-1, I think that's a problem for the Knicks. They don't have a very deep bench, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, Tibbs gets a lot of flack for playing his starters too much. But when I think about it, it's like, who does he have on the bench really who can count on every game? You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, he's got Deuce. I think Deuce is reliable. You know, Deuce McBride. I think, Mitchell Robinson is solid. He started making his free throws tonight, which was beautiful.
That's always like a nice icing on the cake when you're just like, just fucking hit the free throws, dude. And he like sinks 3 of them, and you're just like, oh, thank God.
My God. Almost my eyes started welling up when he hit 2 in a row. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with the new salary cap restrictions, we have to see these. If you want a team to go on a run that isn't just like 2 or 3 years, like Boston's in the middle of it right now. After next season, that run's done.
Yeah, that's
right.
It.
It's done. They're going to have to break it up, right? As long as we have the salary structure where one player can get up to 45% of the cap on a super max, you have to go literally whittle it down to the big 2 and then fill everything out through draft and development, right? And finding those kind of like diamonds in the rough, you know, getting guys from Europe or wherever, or maybe dudes that went to a smaller school and developing them, you know, like we have to see better cap management, because like I'm at the point as a Cavs fan, I don't think Garland is the guy that I want in the backcourt with Donovan Mitchell. Right. Yeah. And Jarrett Allen has been to the playoffs a few times in theory, but he never shows up the way he does during the regular season.
We used to beat up on them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so like for me, it's like, see what you can get for Garland, see what you can get for Allen. Right. And then let's flesh out this team a little better. Cause like, I love Isaac Okoro, dude. The minute he got drafted, I bought a jersey. I haven't done that for an NBA player in like fucking 15 years before that. But the whole 3-and-D thing only works if you can shoot fucking 3-pointers too. And Isaac cannot, you know, like, and it's just, I really like the baby Cavs idea. Let's draft, let's develop, and then plug in where we can get in like they did with Mitchell. But at this point, dude, you have to know when the juice is worth the squeeze. And after a second round exit in a very ignominious way, I think we're realizing the juice is not worth the squeeze with this core 4 that they have. I think the biggest problem here is if you want to move Jarrett Allen, who's going to fucking take him?
Well, this is the problem. Yeah, I think this is a problem the Cavs have had for the last couple of years, actually, is like they have not showed up in the playoffs well. And in a situation like that, often you want to make a trade of some kind, but nobody wants to trade for any of these guys because they choke so bad, you know. I think that's a real problem for the Cavs.
Garland, I think, will have takers, right? It's
absolutely.
Allen will be the guy that'll be hard to move.
Honestly, I was surprised to hear you say that about Garland, because that he's not the ideal player for you to have in the backcourt, but because
not with Mitchell. Not with Mitchell.
Yeah.
You know,
when they have been a threat to the Knicks, it's often been through Garland, I've found.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's when Garland's on, right? Yeah, but see, the thing is, Spide is not what you would call a physically dominating presence. Garland is not a big dude either, right? So after 82 games, and then you get to the playoffs, which we have seen has been very physical this year, which I think is great. Just let the guys go out there and play ball, you know? Call the fouls when you need to, but stop with that ticky-tack bullshit. Okay? But having 2 smaller guards, right? Especially when Garland, he can't, like, the dude does not rebound well. right? And rebounding is important, especially since we are in a more open court kind of, era now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Everybody on the floor has to be able to rebound. Everybody.
absolutely.
And Garland doesn't.
Yeah.
He does not. He can be turnover prone. Yeah. Celtics should have shot more threes. Oh, Tony. Ooh.
Oh man, I gotta get the chat. I gotta be looking at. I always forget to look at the chat.
But like this is kind of crazy. I the playoffs have just kind of dumbfounded me. One, I don't know how. I don't know how the Warriors snuck in. Okay, but when they got there, I was like, if Steph can stay on the court, they got a chance. And the minute he, everybody's like, well, playoff Jimmy will show up. Playoff Jimmy has not shown up. Minnesota, I think they're very much built to win now, right? And the thing is, they've done a lot of homegrown and making the good trade to bring in some depth. Rudy Gobert, people kind of knock that deal, but I think it's worked out well in their favor. You could just have him literally hovering around the paint and let Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony do his thing. So it's been really weird, but I like the fact that we're seeing some other teams kind of step up that are non-traditional powers. Or OKC's been a doormat for so long. Seeing him kind of turn this, have this run this season has been great. Denver, I think out of all the playoff teams, Denver is the one that's kind of, I think, at the biggest risk of falling off after this season. Only because
what about Boston? I mean, Boston might not have Tatum for.
Well, yeah, Tatum's definitely out for the year next year, but that team is still built well to be, especially playing in the East, right? Mm-hmm. You and I both, we love our teams, but the East isn't what you would call deep. I think the West is a much better part of the league. Boston, I think even without Tatum, still has a chance to pull a 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah.
So like even without him, and the East is wide open. I mean, we're watching it in fucking real time right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
But it's going to be kind of crazy watching how the Cavs navigate the cap, not next season, but the season after, and then watching what Boston does directly after next season. Right. Like, how do we juggle the apron? I mean, because Boston's already a multiple time offender. They're going to have to start surrendering, picks.
Yeah.
No one wants to fucking surrender a pick,
That's true. That's a good point. Oh my God, I hate to do this to Jason, but I've been, I probably drank a little too much tonight to numb the pain. I gotta pee.
No worries, dude. No
He's
worries,
got
I think I'm good for right now.
All right, cool. I gotta pee so bad I can taste it.
It's all that.
I'm afraid to check the Warriors
sugar. All that booger sugar.
That's why I was like terrified. I was like, oh God, let me get off air because people always assume that I do things that I don't do because I'm.
I know. I make a joke out of it because I know you don't do any of that shit.
I'm hella boring, right? You've been with me in a very cocaine friendly setting, and I was like, no.
Dude, yeah, this one kind of threw me off guard. I got offered blow like 3 times that night, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Like, no,
I don't need any of that shit.
Yeah, Jay, you get free drinks. Oh, you want them? Like, I don't need them.
Yeah. Dude, you saved my bacon because like I was drinking vodka sodas and I was kind of like just spacing them out. But I think like 3 people brought you a drink and you just set them on the table behind you. And I was like, yoink.
Yeah, people, you can say it on the show as much as you want. Like, oh no, I don't drink. And I think people are like, yeah, the guy, get him out front of behind the camera, and he's just fucking popping them back. And we know it's really in that mug. It's not coffee. You're like, oh no, it's coffee.
Yeah, it's definitely coffee.
I'm nice boring
froth. It's a nice coffee,
I'm boring as shit, man. I'm okay to admit it.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, dude, I'm I'm not like, I've been thinking about this like crazy. Just the salary cap implications with the new rules. The days of the big three are over. You just don't have the financial flexibility to do that now.
You
right?
think so?
Well, dude, if you are repeated, like if you are 3 years running, go over the luxury tax, you have to surrender your first round pick. No team is going to do that because what are first round picks? Even if you're a good team and you don't use them, it's trade bait.
Well, can I ask you guys this question about first round picks, Mac? In all seriousness, I don't like to believe in conspiracies.
But are you talking about the fucking Mavs? Oh my God.
Draft lottery. That's one of those things where you're like, this never works for the teams on the bottom.
Dude, yeah. I saw they had a 1.4% chance to get it. But then I think back, there was a year the Cavs had a 1.4% chance to get it, and we got it. And then we burned it on Anthony Bennett, maybe the worst first-round pick in recorded human history. That should tell us all, don't draft Canadians. It's a joke, Canada. I love you. I'm wearing an Expos hat right now.
Oh, fuck them. You know, they always think they're better than everybody.
RJ Barrett back. Yeah, that's fine with me.
See, Claw knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anthony Bennett, when that name was called, Jason, I think a part of me died. I was like, what in the actual fuck? Why? He wasn't even that good. What position to take him number one overall?
I don't even know who he is. That should tell you something. Never heard.
He's like Anthony Bennett, Tony Bennett. I don't know any of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's actually he's doing a dual act with Tony Bennett in Vegas right now. They have a residency.
It's just, and Tony Bennett's like Weekend at Bernie's at this point. It's just like seriously, I was driving in my car and they were talking. The draft lottery had just happened.
Yeah, and
they said who got the pick, and of course the sports guys were losing their ever loving minds.
Dude, the sports world on the internet has just been. Dude, Connor, you got to pay the bills somehow, man.
That's the meanest shit I've ever read.
Hey, Anthony, we got another business building that's having some internet trouble. You got to go. You're the only one tall enough to get in the ceiling panels. Fuck. All right. Who's driving?
That's the meanest shit.
That's the meanest shit. So that motherfucker is fixed. They're not even selling insurance.
Oh my God.
Just damn. Telecom tech is a good paying job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's not.
He's working Rogers Center as a brand ambassador.
Jason Tatum, they're hiring.
Damn.
Oh, you thought it couldn't get meaner. You thought it couldn't get meaner.
Matthew was sending me fucking Dragon Ball Z memes of the fucking Celtics dying.
Honestly, yeah, that's shout out to my friend Kiki Sanchez. Made that meme just personally made for me. Didn't even post it anywhere.
I was just like, man, like the Knicks. Somebody wrote in the chat, Matthew. I don't know if you saw it. It said this is a Yankees town, but if the Knicks win the championship, Brooklyn will be Escape from New York.
Dragons. Yeah.
Is that true in your opinion, Matthew?
Escaped from New York. If the Knicks
you don't know that movie, but Mac, by the way, Matthew's like 28.
Oh, dude, Escape from New York.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Paul. You're 29.
Yeah, it feels pretty old to me. Hey, when you've been a Knicks fan in Knicks years, that's like 63.
Yeah.
Yo, Jason.
Oh
no!
Oh no! Matt got sniped.
Oh no, Jason. Oh fuck.
They sniped him.
Well, I've got a good space filler here. I just say, you remember when the Captain Crunch, the cereal company, uh, came out with a all berries edition.
I know Crunch Berries.
All berries. Well, I just sent you a meme. I don't know if it's show appropriate, but if it is, feel free to blast it up on there. Kiki Sanchez again.
Oh no, his internet went out. Mac's internet went out. So
no.
the one thing he said that he probably would have is gone. Damn. Let me see if I can pull this up. Jesus.
Here it goes. Kiki.
Oh wait, so the Knicks are advancing, right? They did beat the Celtics tonight, right?
No, we lost. I told you. I was.
I haven't seen the score. I can't see the score. I'm doing the show.
I thought I was gonna be making out with my girlfriend, crying tears of joy, but instead she was rubbing my back. I was crying tears of sadness.
I've been mildly following this Puffy trial, and when I found out have you been following the Puffy trial?
It's game 5, man. Are you crazy? I mean, he's safely confined right now. You know, nothing's gonna happen before the 3rd week of June.
I sadly found out about one of the testimonies, the testimony of the girlfriend that he beat up on camera. Let me see if I can pull it. I don't know if they'll let me share the picture.
All right. I'm a little apprehensive about you dragging this negative energy into the series.
I can't. It's not letting me share it. It's not letting me share it.
We're laughing so hard. I'm gonna have to pee again at some point. It's not soon, not imminent.
You haven't look if you haven't been following the trial. Okay. I don't know if I should say this. I'll send it because people always like, oh, you should have gave me a trigger warning. I didn't know. Well, I'm gonna say some things that are so gross that even Mac and I wouldn't say it on a normal show. Apparently, his former girlfriend, Cassie, said that he liked to have dudes finish on her. Right? So she's just covered in, right? And then he wanted her to go to his room afterwards and rub all of that on his nipples.
Oh my God. As if this night wasn't hard enough. Jesus Christ, man.
I just want you to remember that Puffy's a Knicks fan. But that's not funny what he did, because that's really fucking gross and mean.
You know what? My best guess why he's probably a Knicks fan. Probably hates himself.
He's just from New York.
That's all I can come up with. Maybe he hates himself. How could you not at that point? After all that,
Dr. Claus says he already knew what it was and turned down the volume. Yeah, that is wow. Drea doesn't tell my story. No, Drea, I'm not going to tell the story about how I walked out of a gangbang.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not going to tell that story. I ran out of the room. I ran out of the room with no pants on.
The only other time I was on a sports show, I called into Knicks Fan TV.
Oof.
And I had so much to say that I was played out with Oscar music.
I called in a sports show a few weeks ago, and they cut me off.
Yeah, my own people. Yeah.
They fucking cut me off. Tony called me a quitter. Yeah, I had no shoes, Dre, when I ran out. I ran out barefoot. It was rather embarrassing. But I was in Santa Cruz, so being barefoot and no pants on, nobody really thought anything was weird, which should let you know what Santa Cruz is like. It was totally cool. It was totally cool.
Did you get the meme I sent you?
I'm sorry?
Did you get the meme?
I did, but I can't put it up.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, if you would have emailed it to me, it would have been easier.
Over the line?
No, I'm having a problem and I have to like get off the screen and do a bunch of
Yeah. All right, I was worried it crossed the line. Also, I mean, I feel like this is another thing. I've been, as you know, I think I've kept you posted on this over text. I've been not only in touch with a bunch of Nick's family members via group text over this, including my brothers. Shout out to Adam and Jackson. But I've also been, I think it'll shock you to know I'm not even exaggerating here. I've been texting about 20 Celtics fans in my life in real time, every single game. And honestly, it might have ended a couple friendships.
Look, I'll say this as a person that has rooted for a team that has historically lost big in big games. My football team is the Denver Broncos, and until recently, before around the time you were born, the Broncos won their first Super Bowl. But before that, they got blown out in a lot of Super Bowls. And being a Broncos fan, and I'm from the Bay Area, and the 49ers beat the Broncos real bad. So everybody wanted to give me shit. So the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl, and this is before texting, by the way, Matthew. So we didn't have the ability to just like, send a cute little middle finger emoji.
Yeah.
This is people called you up. We didn't have caller ID. We had a phone on the wall, a regular phone on the wall in the apartment I had with my, at the time, pregnant, now ex-wife. So you answer the phone, people were like, "Your team's losing, nigga!" And they didn't hang up on you. That was so the Super Bowl, the Broncos played the Packers, and my phone was ringing off the hook for 3.5 quarters. For 3.5 quarters, my family, my own father was calling to tell me to fuck off. Everybody was calling to tell me that my team was finna lose. And when the Broncos finally won, that shit was silent. I sat in front of the phone waiting for it, begging for it to ring. And then I went down a list of everybody to call and then yell at them on the phone to go fuck
yes.
So it's a different feeling. So if you really want to feel truly vindicated, make sure you call everyone.
Oh, dude, honestly, let me just say a couple things. First of all, I mean, I was calling people before every game even started. Okay. And the only reason we ended up in a texting situation is because they were too pussy to answer the phone. Okay. Because they knew what was happening. They knew what the fuck was happening. Okay. Second of all, after game 2, I cried. We cried together. Okay.
Yeah. No, I when the Broncos won the Super Bowl, I remember because my now ex-wife was pregnant with our daughter, and we were both. She watched the whole game. Bless that woman. The shit she put up being married to me. She watched that whole game on the edge of her seat as well. We were like, it was so tense in that apartment.
Yeah.
And when it was over, when it was finally over, and all the triple zeros, quadruple zeros are on the clock, and it's officially over, and the Broncos won.
Yeah, you made out.
Oh no, we were just crying. We were just crying.
Yeah,
we were.
If you're ever in that situation again, I recommend make out with her a little bit.
Well, she's my ex-wife, and if I do, her new husband will be very angry. He would be very angry, and he'd want to know why I was in his house.
No, maybe I'm saying maybe the next one.
I'm never getting married again.
Well, I mean, you probably make out with somebody again. I mean,
I'm like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. No
no, you know what? I shouldn't make any.
No kissing on the mouth.
Let me ask you a question here. Let me bounce a question off you.
Oh God.
You ready for this?
No.
I guarantee you're not ready for this question. Okay. All right. Buckle up. It's a big one. Okay. All right. You might even be a little offended by it. I'm not gonna lie.
Jesus.
All right. So when I, let's say, send a text message to a Celtics fan that's like really mean after they just went down 3-1, you know, maybe it's like, I don't know, I'm throwing out a hypothetical here. Maybe it's a joke about somebody's like career-ending injury. Okay. And they end the friendship, or they act offended, you know. Is that a little bit like being accused of reverse racism?
I mean, did you call them the N-word?
No. Reverse
No,
racism.
they're the N-word, and they told you they were offended.
No. I'm in this situation. Yeah, in this situation, I'm the black person.
Wait, let me figure out who the N-word is first. First, we have to identify the N-word.
Yeah.
First things first.
Yeah, I'm accusing. Yeah, the more privileged group is accusing me of being offensive. Yeah.
Oh, if you get your like feelings hurt for real.
I'm not saying it's equal. I'm not. I'm not gonna. That's although it is hard to be a Knicks fan, but I'm not. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm not saying I've experienced that. I'm saying it's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that.
So in identifying the N-word, I think we found the N-word.
No, I'm sorry.
If you are friends with someone,
I don't know if you know, Nick starts with a K, actually.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay, my bad.
We can spell it all different kinds of ways. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah. Miscommunication.
If you're a sports fan, you're friends with a sports fan. There's this point that people go. There's a line where it's like, hey man, you went from shit talking to really trying to start a fight.
Yeah.
and I was in a group once, and it was like a sports group for these like Niner fans locally. And I remember they were like, hey man, we're just gonna let you know that the shit talk here gets real. I was like, well, do people fight? And then it's not real. Right. It's just people saying things because they want to fight and they're scared to fight, and then they'll hide behind, I'm just kidding. And those are people I don't like to be around, because I can take a lot of, again, my team is lost bad and I've eaten a lot of shit, and it's okay. It is what it is. And I've traveled all over the planet wearing my Giants shit, my Broncos shit, my Warriors shit. And sometimes people have something to say, sometimes people don't.
Yeah.
But there's these lines people want to cross where it starts to be an insult on you as a person. You talk shit about the team all you want. That's not me. Right? Like, I don't care, oh, their quarterback sucks. Okay. All right, the Warriors are nothing without Curry. Yeah, you're right. What else? What other obvious thing do you want to point out? Like, I don't care about that, but when it starts getting like super horrible to where it's like, do you want to fight, dude? Because you're like, you officially crossed the line here.
Yeah.
Where it sounds like you want to fight.
I mean, I'll fight somebody. You found the right guy.
Yeah, yes, I hear it says when keeping it real goes wrong. Like if you're mad about a team, or you're a Giants fan, like I was walking down the street, and this never happens here. I had a Giants hat on, which rarely I wear. I was walking down the street, and it was a weekend, and there's a lot of tourists, Chicanos, that come from LA and San Diego. And they always get shocked for some reason that a black dude is walking down the street. Like, they do like a double take. I'm like, why did you do a double? Like, maybe I'm just a tourist. I'm not, but okay. So I was walking down the street, and this guy was like, and fuck you in the Giant shirt too.
Oh, geez.
It's like, that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I kept walking because there's no good's going to come from that. Right? Because I live in a country where the cops aren't going to break it up.
And also, listen, the Giants need to step it up. I'm not gonna lie. That's not your fault. It's not his fault. If the Giants have one good winning season, that guy had nothing to say.
Right? Like, I didn't. I'm
He
not
might not have
vested.
he might not have even been racist.
He was from the States, so he was.
Okay. Well,
I'm
saying
sorry.
the
Look,
Giants do suck pretty bad a lot. So
hey,
in
hey,
fairness to that guy,
you talking about the New York Football Giants or the San Francisco Baseball Giants?
so you're talking about San Francisco. Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
the New York Football Giants, they're not very good, but the San
Yeah,
Francisco
yeah.
Giants are not
Okay,
that
my
bad.
bad. I don't know
So I had a
anything
giant. Yeah, I had a. He's like, "Fuck you," and the Giant, and I'm like, "Wow."
about
Like that's not, to me, that's not sports shit talk. That's like that guy just wants to start a fight with somebody,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna ignore it.
And I don't know. I assume the San Francisco Giants are better than the New York Giants. I mean,
Yes.
so
Yes.
so that guy had no excuses. Yeah.
he was just being, he just wanted to start drama because he was with his fucking hot Cheeto eating chick, and he just wanted
Hey,
to impress her.
I'm a Giants fan here. I just I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat.
Once you're out there talking about my football
Yeah.
Giants.
I just I'm willing to face reality.
See, Nuri Yank is from Ireland, and I will say that I learned a little bit about your football teams over there and how violent those conversations can get if you're wearing the wrong colors. I don't think anything exists in the States. The Giants Dodgers rivalry used to be really bad in the 80s and 90s. Like, people actually, I think in the 2000s, a Dodger fan threw a Giants fan off the stadium
Oh
and
wow.
like paralyzed that man.
Yeah, we're gonna wait decades until they're least expecting it, and you get one of them.
it was those things can get bad, but look, if you're just calling your friends to roast them because your team finally won, I always just wait till it's finally over. Gotta wait till it's finally
That's
over.
the thing, is I was sending, as you saw, I would say, like, premonition type messages. I think I forwarded you the group chat with me and my two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, we got them down. We were down by 20 in game 2. I sent my brothers a message that said we got them right where we want them.
like basketball. Like, I remember when the Warriors were up 3-1. Was it the Cavs? Yeah, it was the Cavs. This is why Mac needs to be here. The Warriors were up 3-1 on the Cavs and ended up losing. And I can't remember where I was, but I was on tour. I definitely remember being on tour. Maybe I was in Canada. I can't remember, but I remember like, damn, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, that was wild.
But that was moments like that when your team is up 3-1 and they end up losing, or maybe the best 3-1, or was it 3-2, is when the Mets were down 3-2. Yeah, 3-2 to the Red Sox in '86, and they ended up winning that series in 7. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
If we lose this series, I'll probably quit my job, never shave again, and go home. I don't even think my parents would take me if we lose. They'll be too upset too.
You're just gonna go on your quest. That's when you start your quest for truth.
I'm just gonna walk across the country.
You're gonna who's that homeless guy over there, Mom? Hey kid, come here. You want to hear a story about lost dreams?
Yeah, game 4. Yeah.
We had the world in the palm of our hands, kid.
Yeah.
The world, kid.
Yo, can you carry the show with your greatness for like a couple minutes?
Yeah. Do the thing. I am afraid to know what the Warriors are doing right now. I want to know, but I'm terrified to look. I'm still heartbroken over what happened last night. For those that don't know, the 2 weeks ago we were watching a movie in the champagne room, and YouTube didn't pull it, and we were watching the movies with boobs and everything. Yep. And I figured, hey, I found something that's public domain. It's entertaining. We're watching it. We're getting into it. All the cliches of an action movie are happening. Every part of an action movie that you want to experience is going on. Right? Stoney Cooper. When the cops won't do it and the courts don't go far enough, there's only one man for the job, is Stoney Cooper. If you're a fan of the movie Lethal Weapon, this movie, which comes out 4 years before Lethal Weapon takes basically all the beats from this movie. It's called Deadly Force. And it was a VHS rip too. So it's grainy. It feels like you're watching a UHF station in 1986 and it's hella late at night. The only thing this movie was missing was like commercials. And if I had it all to do over again, I would take it and edit in commercials from like 86, 87, like the Shasta commercials and shit like that. Memorex commercials. Drea says B-side Lethal Weapon, but it came out 4 years before Lethal Weapon. And the character of Stoney Cooper is totally Mel Gibson's character, down to the hair. They bite everything off this, and it's played by the late Wings Hauser. We were having so much fun, and then YouTube pulls it. And I was like, okay, let's try it again. And we're playing again. I figured out why they were pulling it. Drea says you were looking for it for a half hour and couldn't find it. Should I share the link in the champagne room or for patrons, the link to that movie? I think I found a way we can watch it again. I just have to try it, and I'm going to try soon because I definitely want to finish watching this movie with you guys because there's just so many scenes in the movie that are just peak 80s approvable, like acceptable racism and sexism. Like the character is doing this weird gambling game that I've never seen before. Maybe it exists. No one that watched it with us said it existed, where there was like a rat. Like this dude just took a rat and put it on this board, and it was kind of like roulette. So you had to like bet which hole you thought the rat was going to go into. And then our hero, Stoney Cooper, he wins the bet. And then his pager goes off. He's it's just the most 80s thing ever. And as he's getting ready to go on his flight to LA to like solve some case, it's very Lethal Weapon. Someone's granddaughter was thrown off a balcony and he's got to go solve the case in Los Angeles. Another guy calls him. He's like, there's a Puerto Rican in my warehouse. He's got dynamite strapped to him. What am I going to do, Stoney? And then the movie just descended into a great big ball of acceptable racism on screen. And then YouTube cut it off. We were having too much fun. Totally. We're having too much fun. Someone said, why were they pulling it? They're pulling it because they're fucking haters. That's why they pulled it. No, they said someone owned it. And I was like, nah, not buying it. Yes, Sal. That was the guy's name. Sal owned a warehouse. We still don't know what Sal had in his warehouse, but apparently there's a Puerto Rican man in there with dynamite. And our hero, Stoney Cooper, goes up to the Puerto Rican gentleman with a gun. And the Puerto Rican gentleman has the dynamite, and he's got his hand on the dynamite thing. And Stoney goes, with the gun in his face, he goes, looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff here. And the Puerto Rican guy goes, but I'm Puerto Rican. Um,
Oh my god!
Somebody says Looney Tunes. That's Puerto Rican. There's a scene in the movie. He goes, "Well, what's the guy's name? I don't know. Chico, Rico, some nigga Spanish. I don't know."
You know, there was one time where I was on your show and you had to go do something for a minute, and you told me to tell a joke while you were and I had no. I'm just gonna say this: without that laugh track, I was dying out there. Okay? I was dying without that laugh track. I wish I had that laugh track in my life.
Right. Somebody says, "What's his name?" Kiki Sanchez.
Yes, she made the memes. Oh, we gotta spread those memes.
You got to see this movie. I want to show. I wish I could show this movie. They'll pull the whole show down. I would love to show you this movie because it's an actually kind of a fun action movie. But when he has these like, this is a Mexican standoff, and then it goes, but I'm Puerto Rican, and then the hero goes, but I'm German Irish.
Oh shit!
And then I guess the dynamite had a certain kind of clip on it, and I guess the clip is called like a Japanese handle.
Yeah.
And so he goes, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm German, and he goes, is that a Japanese handle? Like, Jesus Christ!
Oh, here we go with the oppression Olympics.
Oh my God! It was this movie, and that's like that's 5 minutes into the movie. You're only 5 minutes into the movie.
I talking about the Ed.
No, that's the first 5 minutes of the film. We haven't even gotten to any of the good stuff.
You know,
and then YouTube was like, nope.
You know what they say? You got to have a good first act.
Oh, the first act for that movie is fucking phenomenal. And it kind of goes like how most movies of that era go, where there's not really like the bad guy is kind of bad for comic reasons. Like he's just bad for reasons. There's not really, and there's always got to be a twist, so you don't see it coming to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat to be like, oh, wait, who's the killer? Who's the killer? And I am that idiot that will watch I don't care how horrible the movie is. I'm like, if I've gotten over 20 minutes in, I just have to see how it ends.
Yeah.
I just have to see. I just got to see how it ends. And with this movie, I actually was like, okay. Like this. I was like, who's the killer? Who's the killer? So we have to finish watching it. Deadly Force, 1983.
How did we get on? I was blasting a pee. How do we get on to this movie? How do we get on the topic?
Because I was waiting for you, and people were talking about it because last night in the champagne room for the patrons, we were trying to watch it. Usually there's a person that sets up our movie nights and we watch it through Discord. Every time I've tried to do it myself, I've failed miserably. So I was like, well, maybe we can just do it this way that may work, it may not. And it didn't work, sadly.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry to hear that.
But see, Connor wants to see it. Drea wants to see it. Tomorrow night we're gonna try it because I think I found a way to make it work.
Moved on very quickly from the devastating loss. I don't know what's going on. We could have been a part of history tonight. I hope everyone understands that. We could have been a part of history. First of all, we could have been semi-conference final champions for the first time in 25 years. We could have had a banner. Eastern Conference semi-final champions 2025. In parentheses, beat the Celtics. In parentheses.
Is beating the Celtics one of those things like beating the Yankees? It's like
you
topple the giant.
I would say it's like a step above winning the championship.
Damn.
Even if we lose, let's say we lose in the next round. I mean, who knows how the Knicks are going to fuck it up? That's the thing with us, right? So let's say we lose in the next round, and then the Pacers go on to win the championship, Guess what's one thing they can't say? We beat the Celtics.
Damn.
They can't say that. You know.
Drea
In
keeps
fact,
giving me the score of the Warriors Wolves game.
yeah, you know what the Timberwolves is? That's a team of former Knicks. And that's my backup team.
Alf Den says beating the
Everywhere.
Celtics is like winning the in-season tournament.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we're everywhere too. Even if the Timberwolves win, that's basically like the Knicks won.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Drea, I just want you to know every time you flash the score of the game and the Warriors are losing, it's like asking someone that you're having intercourse with, is it in yet? And that person is all the way in. They think they're balls deep, and you yell out, "Is it? Are you in?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's like when that's what it's like when the Knicks are up by anything less than 20.
And then they lose, so it's the same feeling. And you're like, "Oh yeah," and you're like, "Oh, are you in? Like,
Are you sure
what?"
you were in there? Yeah. Yeah. You're already out. She doesn't even know.
Just the worst feeling ever. Just like, but nothing. Sorry, I don't tell you.
Oh man.
Damn, she says then her job here is done.
Four
That's
worst
fucked
words.
up.
4 worst words in the English language.
Well, the worst is that it? Anytime a woman tells you is that it?
3.
There's nothing good. Yeah, there's 3 words. It doesn't matter. Hey, honey, look what I got you for your birthday. Oh, is that it?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, look, I cleaned the house today. Isn't that it?
Yeah. Or it's instead of the question, is it in yet? That's oh, yeah. Ooh.
Like you pulling out your dick and hearing is that it is so far down the list of other is that it's that are equally.
Honestly, I'd rather hear is it in yet? I'd rather.
Yeah, right. Because it could be a lot of things. She could have a lot on her mind, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It could be a lot of things. But when you hear,
you might not be at your best, you know.
You might be cold.
Yeah.
There's tons of reasons why you could be still fumbling around with the prophylactic. But
the Knicks just lost, you know. You got a lot on your mind. Yeah.
Right. Maybe like your grandma just called. Like there's a lot of weird shit that can happen beforehand.
The Knicks just lost again. Yeah.
Dre just added some spice on it. Or how about, oh, you're gonna do it like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The question mark is really the killer at the end of that, right?
You're like, oh, that's like that. You're one of those, huh?
If you got an exclamation point or even a period on the end of that, I think you're still cooking with gas. The question mark is really the killer. Yeah.
The question mark is the murderer. Oh, you're gonna do it like that? That is akin to is that it though? Because you can just say, oh, is that it? Because you could, like, if a dude, are you ready? And he takes his junk out, and you go, is that it? Put your dick away, sir. It's over. Just put your dick away. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry to waste your time, ma'am.
You got all the leverage. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? No man can say that.
No,
you can try to say that. It doesn't hit the same way.
Are you kidding me? No. Yeah. Yeah, you got to start packing. Yeah. As soon as those words leave your mouth, you're like, oh no. You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. Don't even worry about it.
I'm sorry. I was trying to be funny and it didn't work. I'm gonna put my dick away.
Yeah.
You just hear balloons popping everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to say to someone, Drea. Is that it? And that's what you're saying every time you post a score and the Warriors are losing badly. You're it's like you're looking at me in the eye. You look down and you looked at me in the eye and you're like, oh, is that it?
Yeah. Does that make you feel powerful?
Yeah, probably does.
Yeah.
Bet it feels fucking great.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, just put
things aren't going well at work.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you gotta come on to these late night talk shows and beat up on Knicks and Warriors fans.
That's what they do. Don't ever fucking, date a woman in accounts receivable. An executive assistant for HR. Yeah,
no,
you're gonna get it. You're gonna get
no,
it pretty bad.
Too late for
Okay,
me.
look, see, she's doing it
Already
again.
down that road.
Look, she's doing it. She's doing it again. She's just having all this fun. I think this woman lives in Minnesota.
What?
And she's just,
Real shit here, huh?
oh yeah, man. There's a lot of sports shit talk. It would have been better if Mac was here to vent his Cleveland frustrations, because he really was upset, because he texted me last night super pissed.
Yeah, no, the three of us could have just had a full-on grieving party. We could have just had the saddest sports podcast in and Mac blew it. He blew it. We could have set another record this year. Saddest show of all time. Oh God.
I think the Warriors can still come back. I believe in you. Does Steph, does anyone know? Do you know, Matthew? Is Steph Curry playing right now?
He's not playing right now.
Was he playing in the game at all?
No, I think he's not playing tonight. My understanding is the Warriors are trying to get it to 6 games because they're hoping he can come back for game 6. So they kind of need to win without him at least once in order to extend the series, I think. Yeah. And I don't, but hey, you're in striking distance right now. It's not that bad. I mean,
no, it really is, because it's not halftime yet, right?
We were down by, I don't know if you saw the data on this. We were down by 20 in 2 games in a row. Became the first team in NBA history to come back 2 games in a row down 20 and win both those games. ESPN said the chances of that were 0.015.
And that's what fucked you up, because you got too excited. You can't get too excited. You can't get too excited until it's over.
That's true. Well, hey, I mean, I think it's sort of our thing. We don't like to just blow people out, you know. We don't like to show off. We know what it's like. We know so deeply what it's like to be on that side of things. We can't do it to other people. We like to keep it close. You know, we like to win by a couple points. We're not trying to show off. Okay. This isn't about showmanship. You know.
So Connor says the Knicks won those games because they're God's team.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, you know what? Before I would be remiss, since I didn't get to go on television after game 2, and now here I am. I would like to thank my mother and God, and also shout out just real quick Alex Berliner, Zach Wiggum, Brendan Houlihan, Carly Miranda, coworkers, friends. I know I'm going to forget people. We dug deep. We trusted each other as a team. We left it all out on the court under the bright lights.
You fans.
Fans. These are all people who just became Knick fans because of the peer pressure that I single-handedly imposed on all of them for over a year. And I don't even know if they want to be Knicks fans or they just don't want to keep having the conversation. But yeah, we've got a whole family here. We dug deep. We trusted each other, you know. The game. You know what else we did? You know what else we did?
Lost.
We kept our D hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I nut quick.
Hard D. We played for 3 out of these 5 games. We played throbbing hard D.
Oh.
Full tent. Quick. Yeah, full tent in the shorts.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, my brother.
I'm talking about defense, right? I don't know. You're a pervert, dude. I don't know what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about defense, dude. Talking about defense. That's the name of the game. Hard D. Hard D at one end, penetration at the other.
Meanwhile, at the sauna.
Hard D and penetration to the hole. That's the name of the game, basketball.
Jesus. Thank you. Come on, TIR, where there's nothing but hard D and penetration to the hole.
Honestly, this has gone a lot better than Knicks fan TV. Yeah.
Yeah, Dre just learned what a blue chew was as well.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. We're talking about the Celtics here. Whatever it takes. Yeah.
Well, look, Matthew, we're about to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. What is your prediction for the next game?
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6. What's the final score?
Knicks by 1.
You don't have a prediction for the score. It's just whatever it is. It'll be a 1 point.
Yeah, we're coming back. We're taking it by 1.
145 to 144. You don't.
Mikal Bridges steals the ball from Jason Tatum's ghost in the corner at the buzzer, and throws it up the court, and then we're all a part of history together. And when your kids ask you, when your kids and your grandkids ask you, "Oh, where were you on Game 6? Where were you when the
Knicks won
on game in
divisional round?"
Yeah. So,
Father, where were you when the Knicks won the divisional round?
Yeah, the Eastern Conference semifinal championship. Yeah, where were you? So,
Jesus.
That's my prediction is Knicks in 6, and I had one other thing to say. I forgot. Thank you for having me on and letting me spread the good word. Also, if anyone out there is on the fence considering becoming a Knicks fan, plenty of seats open in the family. Plenty of seats open in the rebellion.
All right, you and your Jedis.
Yeah.
your Knicks rebellion. Thank you very much, Matt. Have a very good night. Have a good rest of your night. You can't have Matt on because he's got a girlfriend. That alone kind of defeats the purpose of this lonely guy show. Having a girlfriend. We might have to ban Drea for being the one woman in the chat that is mean. But thank you guys. Mac sent me a message and he truly apologizes, but it's not his fault. The power went out. It's southern weather. There's crazy storms going on in Fayetteville. So I'm going to head out tomorrow. Excuse me. I will be back talking. Oh, is it Susan Polgar, who actually, if you've seen the movie or the TV show on Netflix, Queen's Gambit, her story is going to sound extremely similar to that one. She's the first ever female chess grandmaster. We'll be discussing her book tomorrow. So it should be a fun show. Tony Red says TIR is a band of lonely old lefties. Oh, man. Nuri says they aren't all mean. You're married too, so you can fuck off. They're always bragging about all the crazy shit you guys are doing at home. I don't want to hear about your fucking Diddy parties, Nuri. Shit's insane. Listen to that fucking Puffy shit was insane. We're not going to talk about it on the show, but I did talk to Pascal Robert today. And we are going to do a show on black fatigue.
We coming for you, nigga.
Oh, yeah. Read about that today and fell the fuck out. So I figured, why not chase the N-word show with the black fatigue show? Just really go balls deep. I'm reading your guys' comments. They're ridiculous. You guys are insane. If you listen to this show, you have to watch the show and read the live chat comments because these people are hilarious for the full 1 hour and 46 minutes. Thank you guys. I look forward to hearing what you'll have to say tomorrow. And again, I think I have a plan for the champagne room tomorrow night for us to finish watching Deadly Force. So cross your fingers that it works out and we can do it. It'll be a fun time. On that note, we are